Hey everybody, I want to make a video real quick outlining my 2019 precious metals strategies, goals, and expectations. In 2018, I met my silver goal. I fell short of my gold goal, and I addressed that. I plan on keeping those same goals in 2019, but I'm going to make a little bit of changes, not with the amount of silver or gold, but with the composition of silver and gold. I generally like to stack generic silver because I like to keep my dollar cost average as low as possible. I want to stack as much silver as I can for as little money as I can. Not because I'm a cheapskate, but because I'm a coin collector. So if I'm going to spend any extra money over spot, I would rather do that on an investment grade coin, a high grade Morgan dollar, or I like older American coins. When it comes to precious metals, when it comes to bullion, I'm okay getting the generic stuff, and I want to pay as little premium over spot as possible. So I've been stacking for about 7 years now, and I keep a ledger of every purchase I make when it comes to bullion or any sort of coin. I do that for a few reasons. One, so I can keep track of my dollar cost average for the precious metal content. Two, if I do sell something, then I know how much I paid for it, so I can use that as a reference to make a profit. And three, for insurance purposes. So if I do need to make a claim, I know exactly what I have, how much I paid for it, and the amount of the quantity, whatever it is. So I generally mix it up a little bit. If I can find some of the premium silver and gold for generic prices, I'll pick it up. I don't care about handling bullion with gloves. I am not a collector. As I addressed in previous videos, I maintain my one rule when it comes to silver stacking, and that is I refuse to pay $18 I refuse to pay more than $18 per ounce for silver. And if silver exceeds that $18 mark, I don't mind offloading some or all of my stack or trading it in for gold. Whatever the case may be, I am not attached to precious metals, and I'm okay getting rid of it. If that time comes, so be it. So this ledger that I have, that I've been keeping record of all my purchases for the last 7 years, I've noticed the premium on silver in general. In 2018, silver was relatively inexpensive. It stayed, for the most part, below $15 an ounce, which is amazing. In previous years, when it was over $17 an ounce, I've noticed that my purchases were relatively close to the same monetary amount per ounce. And I think that's ridiculous. So I looked at some of the numbers, and from what I came up with, it seems like about $16.50 is that magic number when premiums start to drop off. So if silver is $16 an ounce and you're paying $2 over spot for a generic round, you're still paying the same or close to what you're paying now. If you look at all the online bullion dealers, the government issue and generic rounds, they're pretty close in price. And I don't like that. So in 2019, I'm going to focus more on 90% silver. The reason is I can generally find 90% close to spot. And this isn't going to be my plan for all of 2019, but as long as silver remains below $16.50 an ounce, I think I'm going to stick to 90% unless I get a really good deal close to spot for generic or government issue rounds. So I've put a lot of thought into it, and I've visited a few coin shops in my area, and there's one particular coin shop. It's been around for a long time, so they're established, and it's a father and son that run it. And I've discovered the father, he's about 70, he's very willing to negotiate on prices, to the point where if he makes a profit, he'll accept your deal. And it's awesome. His son, if he's in the shop, he's a little more profit hungry. So talking with both of them separately, doing business deals with them on different occasions separately, I've discovered the father, I can talk 90% down to almost spot price. And I can cherry pick my coins so I can reduce my silver loss. The son, he's a little harder to deal with. He still gives a fair price, but for instance, my most recent purchase, I bought a roll of quarters, and he charged me 11 times face value. His dad charged 10.5 times face value. So the difference between that might sound small to some people, but when you actually crunch the numbers for the silver content, assuming that there's a small amount of wear, because, well, they're worn, circulated coins, so there's going to be some silver loss. So a small margin of silver loss, crunching those numbers, you're paying, is it like $14.62 per ounce at 10.5 times face value, and I think you're paying, what was it, $15.76 or something like that for 11 times face value on a roll of quarters. So in the long run, it does add up, and that extra 0.5 times face value can really eat into your dollar cost average, or add to it, I suppose. So that's why I'm going to stack 90% for the foreseeable future. I'll keep you guys posted on the status of it, but I'm going to try to minimize that dollar to silver amount. I want to stack as much silver for as low of a price as I can. Another reason is, if you're familiar with eBay and the eBay Bucks multipliers, if you can get an 8% or the 10% eBay Bucks multiplier, you can generally find silver and gold for near spot, if not below spot. So there are several online bullion dealers that have shops on eBay. APMEX is one of my favorites when it comes to constitutional silver, because they have the lowest price that I've seen from a reputable, established brick and mortar shop, not just some random guy that is rolling quarters and dimes together and selling them, because you don't know what you're going to get then. APMEX, JM Bullion, SD Bullion, those guys, they're more reputable. If you have a problem, all you got to do is ask. More than times than not, they'll refund or exchange your purchase, no questions asked. When it comes to gold, everybody loves the 4.9's fine, and so do I. The premium on gold it can be less than silver, as I've discovered doing this during my investigation, I should say. There's a lot of discussions about gold being more expensive and harder for people to justify paying those prices. And I agree, in large purchases, you know, and if you're buying an ounce of gold, that's a huge purchase for some people, myself included. So I can totally sympathize with everybody when they say that gold is out of people's budgets. And as a single income household that makes a very modest wage, I can appreciate and respect that viewpoint that a lot of people are making in the comments on previous videos I've made. It is an expensive, it's an expensive metal. It's a big purchase, and if you shop around and you're patient, fractional gold or I don't want to call it junk gold, but older countries' coins that were previously minted, that were minted out of gold, like the British sovereign is one of my favorites. You can find them for reasonably priced, and a lot of times you can get them for close to spot. When you factor in the eBay bucks, a lot of times it's well under spot. And there's denominations from countries all around the world, ranging from 0.05 ounces, which is like a 1/20th ounce gold piece, all the way up to over an ounce of gold, you know, depending on what your budget's at. And since they're circulated, it's going to have a little bit of gold loss, but because they are out of circulation, no longer minted, they're sold as bullion. And even though they're not 4.9's fine, they still have gold content in them, and a lot of them are 22 karat or over 90% gold. So same principle applies with 90% silver. It still has silver in it, just like the drawing a blank right now, brain fart. British sovereigns are 91 point something percent gold, so they're not 100% gold, 22 karat. You can pick those up. There's quarter sovereigns, half sovereigns, so you're basically buying a 1/10 ounce of gold or a quarter ounce of gold, and you get them around spot price a lot of times, or just over. The last sovereign I bought it for $6.99 over spot with 10% eBay bucks. So I got it for $60 under spot per ounce. So it's a killer deal. So don't think that gold is out of your price range. You just have to know where to look. And I'm not advocating for APMEX, but APMEX has some good deals on the old gold coins, and so does Liberty Coin and bullion exchanges. They are where I generally go to first, also because they categorize them as world coins, not bullion, so you are eligible for using eBay bucks on them, or obtaining eBay bucks if you have the multiplier. And it's a great deal. So I'm kind of rambling now, so I'm going to end this. Let me know if you think I'm crazy, or if You can sympathize or agree in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe. Have a great night.